If you've turned on the TV or been online, you know it, election season is here. Now, the November election, just over 90 days away. But first, it's Florida's August primary. Everything you need to know about mail-in voting, early voting, and more. Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections Wendy Sartory Link goes on the record right now.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Todd McDermott.
Good morning. We welcome Supervisor of Elections Wendy Sartory Link to On the Record. Thanks for being back here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
You have, I almost hesitated to ask you to come because I'm sure you're very busy. I mean, at this time of the year, if it's not your Super Bowl, because I guess that would be November.
Right.
You're in the playoffs.
Right. It's busy, but part of what we want to do, right, is get information out to the public. So this is actually very helpful to me.
And the public needs to show up at the polls. I mean,
yes, they do.
You always stress that.
Mm-hmm. Need them to come vote.
And we should stress that as we speak, people are already voting because if you've received a mail-in ballot, you could have already sent it back by now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Mail-in ballots were mailed out. We send out our military and overseas 45 days before the election. So those ballots are out. We've already got about 30,000 ballots already back in.
And if you still want a mail-in ballot, you have a brief amount of time. The deadline is this coming week.
Right, August 6th at 5:00 p.m. So it's a little bit different. Sometimes you can do it up until midnight, but 5:00 p.m. by law is the cutoff on August 6th. So anybody who has not yet requested their ballot, they need to do it.
Okay, what else do people need to know about a mail-in ballot that they may not know? Perhaps they haven't done it before, or they haven't done it in a few years, maybe since 24. What do they need to know about it?
Well, if they requested one before and they got it and they're just waiting thinking, oh, it's going to show up any day, it's not going to show up if they didn't call and request it again. Okay. So that's really important. They can do that online or they can call our office to do it. So either way. But then when they get their ballot at their home, it is postage prepaid, so they can return it to us by just filling it out and then dropping it in the mail. It's critical that they sign the certificate that's on the back of their envelope. That without that signature, we cannot count their ballot. So they got to sign that signature. They're going to drop it in the mail. Because of postage, and because of the Postal Service taking some time, in that last week, you shouldn't drop it in the mail. They should bring it to us because it does not matter when it's postmarked. It has to be received by us.
And let's talk about where that is, because you're going to have to take it, drop it off.
Right.
I know my relatives have done it. Where are they taking it to?
So they can take it to any one of our 4 offices, and they can bring it in the office, or they can drop it at the secure ballot intake stations that are outside. They can bring it to an early voting site. So during early voting hours, you don't have to wait in any early voting line, but we have secure ballot intake stations there. They can take it to one of those. So just need to make sure it's in our office by 7:00 p.m. on Tuesday, August 18th.
All right, and one other thing I wanted to mention is you get a mail-in ballot. You don't have to vote by mail even if you get the ballot, but what do you need to do?
So if you've gotten your vote by mail ballot, but you have not voted it, easiest is if you have it with you, bring it back and surrender it if you want to vote in person. But say you're out shopping or doing something and you're like, oh, there's an early voting site, I want to go vote in person. I don't have my vote by mail ballot with me. That's fine. You don't have to have it as long as we can know that you didn't vote it, and we have ways to check that. So once we know that you have not already voted, even if you don't have it with you, you're going to be allowed to vote.
Before we leave the mail-in voting, one other thing I just want to address is how important it is for voters and to this county. I mean, a lot of people vote by mail. I mean, I know it took off during the pandemic in 2020. It may have waned some, but it's still vitally important, right?
Right. I'd say about a third of our voters generally are still voting by mail. Right. During the pandemic, we had a little over half. But as it's come back, about a third still do that because, people who they're older, they can't get out, it's not as easy for them. Some people just enjoy the convenience. They don't want to go stand in line. They don't want to get out there. So it's a really good alternative. And people love it now because you can track your ballot. Right? One of the things we heard before was, I don't like to vote by mail because once I throw it in the post office box, I have no idea what happened to it. Well, great news for you. You can go check it on our website. We'll tell you what day we sent it out to you, what day we received it back, whether there was an issue, and when it was counted. So you can go onto the website and check that, or they can sign up for something called Ballot Tracks, and you can sign up on our website, and then we'll let you know. You don't even have to come to the website. We'll let you know either by email or by phone, however you've chosen. We'll tell you what day we mailed your ballot, when we got it back, whether your signature has a problem, and then when it was counted.
That's a fantastic service.
It is. So you don't have to think about it anymore, and you know that it was counted.
All right, enough of mail-in.
Yeah.
But what about early voting? Because that's coming up. That is just over a week away. When this airs, it'll be just over a week away. That's important. It's for, is it 8 days? How many days do you have?
Right. We have 8 days of early voting. It's going to start on August 8th, and it's going to go until August 16th. And there's 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We have 28 different locations. That's the most we've ever had. So 28 early voting locations. The great thing about early voting is in Palm Beach County, you can vote at any one of those early voting sites.
That is a big advantage, right?
It is, right.
Because on the 18th, the primary day, you have to go where you're supposed to go.
Right.
There's one polling place for you.
Right. You've got one spot that you can go. It's going to be the one that you're assigned to. But for early voting, whatever works for you, wherever you happen to be in the county, you can go there. And you can also make an appointment if you want to. It's not required, but and maybe for the primary, you may need it, you may not. For the general, though, people are going to want to make an appointment. It just makes it easier. But walk-ins, of course, it's still there.
You have been supervisor of elections now for, remind me, it's
7.5 years.
I was going to say 8. I was going to make it even a little longer. How much has this process changed over those years from where it was when you started?
Oh, yeah. Well, when we started, we had 13 early voting sites. Like I said, now we have 28. We have the appointment system. We're actually the first in the country to do it. And we've been asked by a lot of other places. And I just talked to one county about 2 weeks ago who told me that they instituted the appointments themselves for this election. So we think that's exciting.
You're setting the pace.
Right, we are. And so this last election, we had 46% of our voters chose to vote by early voting.
All right. We have much more to talk about.
Okay.
Because we do have that primary coming up, more with the supervisor elections in just a moment.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
And we are back with Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections, Wendy Sartory. We've already talked mail-in voting, so we've done that. Let's talk about the sample ballot. People get a sample ballot in the mail.
Sure.
It's not your mail-in ballot, but what do you suggest the average voter do with that, besides like leave it on the kitchen counter like a lot of people do?
Well, it's helpful. For one, it's going to give you, we send out ballots that are specific to you. So you're going to get the ballot that you're going to see. Also, that sample ballot is going to tell you your voting location. So that's another chance for you to remind yourself, where do I need to go if I'm going to vote on election day? But fill it out. You've got time now to research, to think about who you want to vote for, and you can mark it on your sample ballot and bring it with you to election day or early voting. And you can use it as a guide, so you can bring it right into the polling location with you.
I'm sure a lot of people don't even realize that it's okay.
Yeah, it's helpful. You can bring it. The only thing you can't bring in is a vote-by-mail ballot with you. So if you got a vote-by-mail ballot, you won't be getting a sample ballot. But all sample ballots are also on the website. So you can go right to votepalmbeach.gov to the voter dashboard, and that's going to give you your sample ballot. So you can still check it there even if you did get a vote by mail.
There are so many races, and the marquee races obviously will be the parties choosing governor, parties choosing their nominees for Senate, et cetera. But this is, I have to confess, I went to the website to look at the ballot. I thought, maybe I'll print some of this out. It's not what everybody gets, but it's 817 pages of stuff. When you cover every race that Palm Beach County has to cover, it is an incredible amount of work for your people, but also, voters should know that, as you said, the ballot they get is their ballot.
Well, for this election, the primary election, we have over 2,400 different ballot styles. And that's because each of our 814 precincts, each of them has 3 ballot styles. You've got a Democratic ballot style, your Republican ballot style, and your no party affiliation minor parties. Because even though they can't vote on the partisan races because we're a closed primary state, they do get to vote on the nonpartisan races. So you'll have your judicial races, your school board races. If you live in maybe an improvement district, you'll have those races. So there's a few races. Plus, we have a universal primary for a couple of our races this time.
And explain what that is. That is if somebody from the opposing party doesn't even get in the race. Is that what that is?
Right. So we have two races, County Commission District 2 and Port of Palm Beach Group 4. Both of those only had Democrats who qualified as candidates. So that means that race is going to be determined in August. So because of that, everybody gets to vote. If you live in that district, it will, even though it's going to show Democratic candidates, on your Republican ballot and on your no party affiliation ballot, you're going to have those races if you live in those districts.
You mentioned the term closed primary. I think it's always good to explain what it is. It has to do with your party affiliation at the time you register.
Right, so when your party affiliation on our book closing date, which was July 20th, so whatever party you were registered, that is your party for this coming election. You can change it later, you can change parties all the time if you want, but whatever it is on book closing, that's what you're registered for. And because Florida is a closed primary state, that means that you can only vote in a primary election for partisan races in the party in which you're registered.
All right, and this includes if you are not a Democrat or Republican, but you have a party affiliation that you've declared, you can only vote for those primaries?
Right, so say you're Libertarian or the Green Party or something. They don't have a primary this time, and therefore, while you would have been able to vote in their primary elections did they have one, they don't have one. So you're just going to get the nonpartisan ballot.
Might as well just jump into registration for a minute here, because if somebody's watching this and saying, oh, I really wanted to vote, it is too late to register for the primary.
Right.
It's, I believe, and see, I feel like I took a test, and we talked in the spring. It's 29 days before the election.
Yes,
is that your
very
deadline?
good.
Thank you very much. B+. But explain that. You have just under a month before the actual election to register?
Right, so it's like, say, the registration date has already passed for the primary, but go ahead, register today, because you still can be registered for the general election. So we want to get everybody doing that, because that general election closing date is going to be in October.
Yeah, it comes up before you know it.
It does.
We're technically in August now. What about the breakdown? Let's talk about the breakdown in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, very close.
It's so close, and you wrote down the numbers because I'm not going to remember them, but it's incredible how close the numbers are as far as registered Democrats and registered Republicans in Palm Beach County.
Right. So it's just over 35% that are registered Democrats, just over 34% that are registered Republicans, and then right about just under 31% that are no party affiliation or the minor parties. So between Democrats and Republicans, it's a 0.97% difference.
That is
so
what we would call...
I think it's the closest it's ever been.
It's just negligible. You can't really even think of how much closer it could be.
Right. So it really matters, turnout.
All right.
Turnout, turnout, turnout.
All right, and we'll talk more about turnout and what you need to do. We'll be right back with more on the Florida primary when On the Record returns. Welcome back. We're talking about the Florida primary, just over 2 weeks away now with election supervisor Wendy Sartory Link. Let's talk about photo IDs. It's a big topic of conversation, but what you need to know is which photo ID will work at the polling station so you can cast your vote. We have a list that we want to show you. It's a long list. We haven't asked the supervisor to memorize this, and nor have I, but this gives you an idea of what it's like today. There are probably more than you'd expect. There are a couple of highlights here that might jump out at people, because it's way beyond just a driver's license. What are some of the ones you think people may not be aware of?
I think the concealed weapons permit, their military ID are not things that people are often thinking about. Right now, student IDs will work, neighborhood association
That's one I didn't
IDs,
realize.
right,
Yeah.
senior centers. So those things will work now. That's going to change January 1.
And this is very important for people to know. We don't want to get too confused right now.
Right.
If you're looking at the list, this is what works for the primary, this is what works for November, but a couple of changes in January we can mention. Some of these are going away.
Right. There'll be a number of different changes, but the two biggest ones that we think are going to affect people the most are going to be student IDs will no longer be a valid form of ID, nor will the senior center IDs. And so those are the two that we think will be the ones people notice the most. But again, we don't want to confuse it because they can still use them for August and for November.
You are good for 2026. That's
Correct.
The bottom line. All the IDs we see here on our list, those you can bring and go ahead and vote. Now, I want to talk a little bit about vote counting because it's such it can be a contentious issue, it can be a controversial issue, but just over a quarter century ago, Palm Beach County was at just the center of this disastrous counting involving Gore versus Bush. And Palm Beach County was really vilified for the way it was the hanging chad. You have to have been around, but it was the hanging chad, the punch-out voting ballots. It's so different now.
It is.
And explain to people, really, Palm Beach County has become apparently pretty much a leader in showing accurate, quick counting of the votes. How has that transformed in the county?
Well, I think that the laws changed, of course, a lot after what happened back in 2000, and they've continued to evolve. So what we have now is once we do our logic and accuracy test, which is a public test where we show that all of the machines are properly counting the votes as they've been counted. So we just had that and everything passed wonderfully. Once we do that, we're able to start processing the votes, and that's done in the public. So members of the public can check the canvassing board schedule, they can come see the ballots be opened, they can see them be tabulated, and so we're able to get a lot of that vote by mail done ahead of time. Now, of course, on election day, the things that come in on election day, that's going to take some time throughout the evening because we'll accept those ballots, as we said, until 7:00 p.m. But then our early voting numbers are going to come out. So in Palm Beach County, as soon as the 7:00 polls close, right after that, you're going to get the results that show all of the early voting results and all of the vote by mail ballots that we had received through Monday.
Okay.
So you're
the
going to
day
get
before the election.
Day before the election. And then on Tuesday, we're going to be processing everything we received on Tuesday. And so throughout the night, because we still, of course, have to check to make sure those voters didn't already vote in person, make sure that their signatures match. So that takes some time. But throughout the night, that vote by mail will come in. And then, of course, the election day, as people finish up, the election day results will come in as well.
And there is a piece of paper attached to every vote that's cast. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think that's important for people to know.
It is. And in Florida, every single vote cast must be on a paper ballot. So no matter what you're doing, if you're voting the traditional oval ballots where you fill it in, that, of course, is a paper ballot, but also those who use the express vote. Express vote is our ADA compliant, but anybody can use it. During early voting, a lot of people choose to use it because it has a lot of benefits. That is still going to be a paper ballot because once you have marked things on the screen, you're going to print your paper ballot and take that paper ballot over to the same tabulator and put it in.
All right, great. Let's give a shout out right now to your employees.
Yes.
This is a big time for them. Who are these people that we see at the polling places? And I am one of those nerds. I like to be in the line. I like to be at the polling place. I took the kids, I love doing it. Who are those folks doing all that work?
They are your neighbors, they are your friends, they are people who are civic minded, and they've all gone through training. They've done training so that they know what you have to do, how to properly get you checked in, how to make sure you're getting your correct ballot, making sure that all the rules are followed. And it takes about 5,000 election workers. All of them are paid. Now, granted, they're not being paid a lot of money, so they're not getting rich off of it.
They are dedicated.
But they are really doing the Lord's work. I mean, it's 12 hours of voting, but they're there before that and they're there after that. So it's at least a 14-hour day for every poll worker that's there. And once you come to vote, if you're in line at 7 p.m., no matter how long that line is, they're going to stay open until you're done voting. So they don't even know when they get there how long they're going to be working that day.
So let's just close by saying, thank your poll workers.
Yes, thank your poll workers. We need them, and we need more of them.
And they believe in the process, and we are so glad you joined us today.
Thank you very much.
I wish you much luck on August 18th. Why don't we talk again before November 3rd?
I'd love it.
All right,
I'd love it.
Midterm elections. But again, Florida primary, August 18th, Wendy Sartory Link, thanks for being here and going on the record.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. first, we want to say thank you for making us part of your morning. As always, we encourage you to be part of the discussion each and every Sunday. We're right here at 10 a.m. Until next time, you can watch this morning's On the Record episode and every episode ever on our website, WPBF.com, and on our free WPBF 25 news app. We hope you have a wonderful Sunday. I'll see you again next week.